Texture provides a three-dimensional look on a two-dimensional surface. And this can be achieved a number of different ways, with value, with color, with shapes and designs. So texture shows the look or feel of a surface. It can add visual interest and provide contrast with other elements in the design. Some examples of texture might be something that is smooth or rough, silky, furry, or has a metallic texture. So here you can see this old style record player has some multiple textures going on. We have the texture of this bronze or copper bell and the way that metal kind of looks. And then you also have the vinyl record and its smooth surface. And then the wood texture of the box. You can see the grains within that wood. So there's a lot of texture within this illustration, and it just presents a very nice, pleasing three-dimensional look to the object. Now, if these were just shapes and solid colors, you would have a certain feel for this. It would look more like an icon or a symbol. But when we start to provide color and patterns and texture, you start to get a sense of really what this is, and it just looks more realistic the more deep you get within textures and coloring and lighting. In this photograph, you can see two textures going on. The texture of the wood surface, and before you can see the grains and the pits, the scratches, the highlights, the dull areas. And then you can see the texture of the phone here, the smooth and clean glass top and the metallic kind of side or plastic side, the nice smooth detail there. And varying textures in this photo helps make that phone stand out. You definitely get a sense of contrast going on within these two textures. In this scene, you can see that it starts really textured at the bottom and gradually moves less textured near the top. It kind of fades away with the mountains as it goes up, and this also provides contrast. So you have the textures of the trees and the grass and the sand, and then as you get near the top, it kind of clears up and really makes the contrast at the top pop out first, so you start reading that first. This image, of course, provides a lot of different textures also, and gives just a nice, pleasant feeling, but in the background you can see multiple textures going on. We have the texture of the table and the wood. We have the wine glass and its smooth surface. You have the texture of the bread with its, pits and holes and its crust. And then you have the smooth surface of the wine bottle and the label. And then the cloth material. Those are all textures, and they all define what kind of feeling that those objects have in the scene. And then finally here again is another good use of using textures and non-textures to create contrast. So we have this background of maybe this kind of chalkboard look that has some scratches and smudges and fades. And the text and the images and symbols are this high contrast white with no texture. So you really get the popping out of the contrast there. And having two different textures, or having a texture and a non-texture, really provides good contrast and shows that visual weight. So you can use textures in your designs to do a couple things. You can have them present a certain mood or feeling based on the texture that you're using. You can show something that is disharmonious if you have something that we are used to seeing as textured, and then maybe instead it has a different texture on it. So for instance, who knows if you had some kind of animal or creature that was made out of bricks or sand or something of that nature, it can provide a different sort of mood or feeling. And then you can use it as contrast when you're having things like this image where there's texture and non-texture. So use texture in your scene, give your scenes some good feeling, and definitely check out this element of design.